So good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here for our Small Business Solutions series. Really appreciate it. And appreciate David Yassa, the growth coach of Greater Portland, for being our sponsor as for our Small Business Solutions series, as well as our Small Business Entrepreneurial Council. So David, good morning and thank you. The floor is yours.
Good morning, Deanna. I just wanna talk about really fast. I know I have only 3 minutes, so I'll always be respectful of the time of everyone. Can you all see my screen?
Got it. Looks great.
Okay, so these are the parts where almost all companies, no matter how big or small they are, and that's the crazy part. No matter how big or small you are, leader, a company, a business owner, a corporate, those are the things, the areas that you need to work on in order for your company to, I'm sorry, what happened just now? Okay. In order for your company to succeed, first part is the strategic mindset. I spoke about it last time we met, which was a month ago, and I believe the video is now online. Second part is strategic selling, the sales process where the salespeople in the company are going to use to sell. Let that be no matter what the product is, you need to sell it. Every company is all about people and systems, and those people have to have a process. Second thing is strategic marketing, and I think Ken spoke about that a few months ago. And it's not, as Ken said, as I recall, it's not only social media, it's lots of other avenues that you need to take in order to market your business. Third thing is strategic leadership. It's how your leaders should be authentic, how your leaders should create and communicate vision and goals, and how they should create an environment that drives engagement. Fourth part is people management, how to hire, how to train, and how to monitor your people without micromanaging them. And fifth one is developing operations manuals, because you should not reinvent the wheel every time you do something. There has to be a process, there has to be a system. Also, you have to have some KPIs, key performance indicators, to measure success. You need to define what those key performance indicators are, and then non-stop business planning and implementation. What's the next goal? Once you reach that goal, you use it as a stepping stone to go to the next vision and next goal, and so on. And that's it for today. Back to you, Deanna.
David, thank you so much. David Yassa, growth coach of Greater Portland. Again, I've talked to so many people that have taken advantage of your support and counsel, and they have just nothing but great things to say. So I think absolutely, if you're in the market for a coach, a business coach, David Yassa is a phone call to make. So very excited about our program today, how to start selling in Amazon stores. I'm assuming someone on the call might have purchased something from Amazon. And this is an opportunity. I hear from small businesses all the time, I need more customers, I need more customers. So thinking about and looking at, is this a potential opportunity for you? We have Daniel Cochran here with us today. Daniel is a program manager at Amazon, where he develops and manages educational programming for entrepreneurs and small businesses to help them find success selling in the Amazon store. Daniel, thank you so much for being with us here today, and the floor is yours.
Thank you for the introduction, Deanna. It's a pleasure to be here today, and really appreciate you all giving me your time. And what I'm truly here to do is simply explain and go over the fundamentals of selling an Amazon store. That's my sole mission for being here today. And as Deanna mentioned, I'm a program manager on the Small Business Partnerships and Education team. I've been with Amazon for approximately 4 years now. So let's dive into the agenda. What are we be discussing and why? Well, first we'll just simply go over why sell an Amazon store. It's going to take up time effort, resources, etc. So there should be a compelling reason as to why one would, embark on this endeavor. Then we'll go into what to sell and when, getting started, listing products, how to deliver those said products, and then opportunities for growth before we close it off with additional resources. And just to make everyone aware that we'll be answering questions at the end of this presentation, and also to make sure that your time is fully utilized to its maximum. I cannot speak to any account specific issues. So if you're just in here waiting to ask a question about your specific, say, selling account, I will not be able to address that in the Q&A either. So just want to put that as a little caveat. But without further ado, let's jump into why sell an Amazon store. So the first one's customers. As Deanna pointed out, most businesses, they want more customers, they want more leads, etc. And with Amazon, there are hundreds of millions of customers buying products in our store. And if you have a B2B business, selling to different businesses, there's over 6 million B2B customers on Amazon Business. It's worth noting too that there is approximately 180 million US Prime accounts. So Prime accounts in the United States, there's approximately 180 million of those simply here domestically as well. But if we capture, a larger picture and see where you can expand to if you have global aspirations for your business, you can see we kind of touch all cornerstones of the globe. So you can start in the United States and you can expand out to Canada, Mexico, Japan, Germany, the Middle East, even South Africa now. So there are a lot of opportunities. There's plenty of opportunities to grow your business in Amazon store, both here in the United States and around the world. It's also worth noting that most sales in Amazon store are not first party sales. So it's not Amazon that they're buying from. It's actually these independent sellers, most of whom are medium and small businesses, small, medium-sized businesses. So it's worth noting that when you buy a product, 60% of these products in Amazon store are coming from these small, medium-sized businesses. What does that really mean for independent sellers? So I'll speak for Oregon specifically. There's over 5,500 Amazon sellers in the state alone. And last year, or in 2023, I should say 2024 data will be coming out shortly, they sold over 31 million units, which is worth noting. And just nationally, our selling partners average more than $250,000 in sales, our independent sellers. So now we got the reasons, you have access to new customers, you have if you have global aspirations for your business, you can partner with and leverage one of our different programs to make that happen for your business. And 60% of sales are actually coming from independent sellers in our store. So it's more than a possibility. So now that we have established the reasons, some compelling reasons as why you may want to sell an Amazon store, let's dive into what to sell and when. So what to sell? It's a great question. It's like the $1 million question, right? There's no direct answer as like sell this, sell that, but there are some general guidelines that successful products have some features, some commonalities. One of those commonalities is that products are easy to package and ship. This will help keep your costs low. So the heavier the product and the larger the product, the more it will cost you as a business owner to fulfill it. And that doesn't mean if you have a big, heavy product that it's impossible for you to sell on Amazon store. No, not at all. It's most certainly possible. And there are successful Amazon selling partners who sell these larger products and they do well. But if you're looking for the product still and you're like really unsure of what I want to sell, then just starting from like some first principles, such as products are easy to package and ship, can help. Also, products have branding potential, meaning that you own the IP rights to that product, that you're not just reselling it. And there's plenty of resellers in Amazon store as well. But one thing with reselling that does happen is it can be a race to the bottom, because if I decide to sell this Yeti, or not this Yeti because it's branded, but like this mug, and I get it's unbranded, I get it for $5 and I sell it for 10. So I double my profit, or I double my margins. Then someone who's a little less greedy than I am could still get this same mug, because it's not branded. I don't own the IP to it. I don't have a logo on it. They could buy it and then they could sell it for $7. And then someone who's a little less greedy than you could buy it for $5 and get it for 6. So you see where I'm getting at. So products that have branding potential and that provide a unique value proposition is obviously a competitive advantage. Also, products that are affordable to the customer. So keeping in mind your price point is obviously important. And then products have a long shelf life. So not a product that's going to expire within 2 weeks after sending it to a fulfillment center or to a warehouse. All right, now we'll go into when to sell an Amazon store. First, you kind of just want to have a avatar in mind, like who's going to be buying my product and why? Like, am I solving a problem or am I helping someone do something better, etc. So really just having your target customer in mind and how you may want to market to them. Then you have a product ready to ship. So it's great if you have the idea and you have a beta testing or something of the sort, but what you really want to be ready for is when you sell an Amazon store and create your account is to have a product that is ready to ship and arrive to a customer. And speaking of, delivery and your product, you also want to make sure that you have a reliable, sustainable supply chain in place, meaning that you understand your lead times, you understand how much inventory you have on hand, you understand what maybe your forecasting is, or you're ready to adapt, but you just have pretty much a good idea of what your supply chain is, and you're ready to get discovered by a larger audience. Because the worst case scenario, well, not the worst case, but one of the things that could happen that would be unfortunate is that you sell a new product in the Amazon store, it's on fire, and then you don't have enough inventory to fulfill orders, and then your listing has to get taken off until you get more inventory on hand, which can obviously hinder momentum. So I'll just stop for one moment, let some of that information digest, let some of those people who are taking notes finish up, and then we'll move into how to get started. Okay, so how to get started selling Amazon store. So first thing you should be aware of that Amazon has two selling plans. Think of them as like subscription plans. The individual plan is when you pay 99 cents on every unit you sell in Amazon store. Think of it as testing the waters. The professional selling plan is when you pay $39.99 irrespective of how many units you sell. So just to compare the two, if I had the individual selling plan and I sold 100 units that month, I would pay $100. If I had the professional selling plan, I would pay $39.99 each month, $40 basically, even if I sold 2,000 units. So one is good for like testing the waters, and the other one, the professional selling plan, is great when you want to access all of Amazon's programs and you anticipate to sell more than 40 units per month in Amazon store. So once you just have an idea of that, you can go to either sell.amazon.com or business.amazon.com to get started. And that will depend on your model, on your business model. Are you selling to customers? Are you selling to other businesses? Are you selling to consumers? Are you selling to other businesses? Excuse me. And that will help determine it. So once more, sell.amazon.com is when you're selling directly to the customer. Business.amazon.com is when you're selling directly to other businesses. And if you are selling to other businesses, there's no worries. You can still reach customers on our D2C storefront when you create an account too. Okay, what you'll need, just some general high-level personal information that you'll need to provide is a bank account number and routing number, a chargeable credit card, a government issued national ID, and tax information. So those are just some things to have on hand when you go to sign up. And once you do sign up, you'll have access to Seller Central. Seller Central is where you navigate your entire Amazon business. This is where you're creating listings, keeping track of, say, inventory, downloading business reports, reaching out to seller partner support if you have any issues with your account, and most importantly, keeping track of your daily sales. So this is where you operate your Amazon business. You will literally do everything from here. So you just want to get acquainted with it and get, used to the ropes once you create that account. Okay, now we'll go into how to list products. So that was a quick section, so I don't think there's any really much of a need to pause, so we'll just jump right in. So what you need for a listing, there's a lot. you want to kind of keep in mind, but you want to make sure you have your product category in mind. You want to have a product ID. We always recommend people get their product IDs from gs1.org. You'll need a stock keeping unit, a SKU that helps you track inventory. Amazon can supply that to you, so there's nothing you need to do there. And then in regards to some other information you'll want to add, product title, description and bullet points, some high quality images, and search term and keywords. So there's just things to be top of mind when you're thinking of, hey, I want to create my product detail page and my product listing. What do I need? It's basically this information here is what you'll need for that. All right, so once more, this is a simple reiteration of the previous slide. Like when you create your product listing, you want a clear title, high quality, multiple images. Typically Amazon sellers have anywhere from 5 to 6 and maybe 5 images in one video. That can be advantageous too. And then accurate, detailed product descriptions. So anything that can't be answered in the title should be answered in the description and in those bullet points. So you pretty much anticipate possible questions you may get from a potential customer, and you just want to address those. If you can't address those in the title, you want to address those in the description. And then some just best practices. Always recommend some people just taking a picture of this slide because it's quite a few. It's a litany of different best practices, but in essence, you want to keep your product title relevant, succinct, and descriptive. So as you can see in the photo on the slide, it says Hulu Days Dancing Dashboard, Hulu Doll, 4 inches. So you're providing the size, you're providing what it is, and you're providing the company. So those are all helpful to a customer who's wondering like what this product is. Another thing too is keeping it succinct. As I mentioned, most of you probably purchase whether it's from Amazon or a different e-commerce store from your phones. That only has a limited amount of space that you can see a product title. So I mentioned that because if the most important information that you deem to be the most important information is later down in your product title, and your product title is like 250 plus characters or 200 characters, they're not going to see all that. So just think of it as like the most important stuff I really want to put at the very front, so they most certainly will see that regardless of what device they're shopping on. Okay, so if you're not a creative like myself and not a copywriter either, we do have an AI plugin tool that can help you in this process of curating your product detail page or product listing. And what this tool really does is you only have to provide a minimal amount of information. And from there, this tool will give you a suggested title, description, bullet points, the whole 9 yards. And if you already have a D2C site, like your own website, you can provide a link to that D2C website with like your product detail page, like on your own D2C, and it can take the information from there too. So you wouldn't even have to like populate it yourself, basically. So this is extremely helpful for people who, once more, are not creatives, not copywriters, and like some assistance when it comes to this stuff. And even if you don't use any of the information it generates, it's not as if you opt in, you have to use the information it generates. You really don't have to. It's up to you. But I always say it's easier to critique than it is to create. So you can just take a couple ideas if you like and ideate on them, or you could use none of it, or you can use all of it. So you have some options. So protecting your brand. Protecting your brand is crucial. For any successful product-based business in Amazon store and elsewhere, you want to protect your intellectual property. You don't want Joe Schmo coming around seeing your product and, oh, it's not trademarked, I'm just gonna sell it as my own. I'm just gonna sell it and say it's my brand now. Point being is you want to get a trademark for your product, just to protect your intellectual property. And we get a trademark from the USPTO. You want to upload that number to Amazon Brand Registry. And from there, we have proactive controls to ensure and to take down any bad faith actors who are trying to resell your product without your permission and are basically infringing upon your intellectual property. We also understand that not everyone has a trademark, and the process can be quite cumbersome. It's not just intuitive and it's not something easy just to do in like a day. And that's why we have the Amazon IP Accelerator. The IP Accelerator connects small business owners like yourself with vetted, trusted U.S. law firms from across the country to provide pre-negotiated rates to get your trademark for your business. So, create a brand store. What's a brand store? Fantastic question. A brand store is basically to bridge the gap between when you have a physical retailer, you can go in, you can see all the products that they're selling, and in that brick and mortar, and you can learn more about like what this business is, their story. They probably have something up about it. And that's what a brand store is, just on the virtual side, because it allows Amazon sellers to upload their entire catalog of products in one place and upload more about who they are as a business owner and their business themselves. Like, what's the story behind it? And what's great about your brand store, excuse me, is the fact that when people are on your brand store, they're not getting, there's no other ads popping up for different products or different opportunities. It's just your products on your brand store that are being listed, which is great because you're kind of like eliminating that competition in that regard because they're not getting ads or not populating again on your brand store for different for different products. So it can be quite advantageous. And setting up a brand store is completely free. The only thing you need to be is brand registered. So before you set up a brand store, you need to be brand registered. And as you can see from that data point, that 45% of customers, so almost half of customers who browse a brand store once, will continue using brand stores to shop moving forward. So, how do you deliver your products? So, you have a great product, you have a great listing, looks fantastic. How does it arrive to the customer? And that's what we're going to touch on next. But we'll just take one moment, let some of the information digest, and yeah, we'll go into how to deliver products. Just one moment. Excuse me. Okay, so let's dive in, right? Package and prep considerations. There's quite a few here. I'll just touch on a couple. This is irrespective of whether you fulfill with Amazon, through Fulfillment by Amazon FBA, which I'm sure most of you have heard about before, or you fulfill on your own. These are just some considerations you want to keep in mind. One is temperature sensitive products. So if your product is temperature sensitive, you want to be aware of that, and you may have to remove your products from a fulfillment center or a warehouse during certain months. Like with Amazon, through the months of April to September, that's like summer in most of the country. Therefore, if you have a temperature sensitive product, you'll be or you'll have to place an order to get your products out of there during those months. And that's just for really warehouses anywhere, because I come from a warehouse background operations. Those warehouses do get quite heated in the summer. Another one is fragile or heavy products. So fragile products, you just want to make sure it's marked so the associates in the warehouse know that this is to be taken with special care, etc. And heavy products too, once more, good to know that's heavy before someone like myself would pick it up. So make sure it's just clearly marked. And then once more, fragile products or specifically heavy products can come at a higher fulfillment cost, whether it's through FBA or elsewhere, simply because they are heavier products and they cost more to deliver to the customer. All right, so choosing your fulfillment method. As I mentioned, there's fulfillment by Amazon, but there's also fulfillment by merchant. And fulfillment by merchant is where you fulfill the products on your own, whether you're shipping them yourselves or you hire a third-party logistics service. Either way, that's what fulfillment by merchant is and captures. Fulfillment by Amazon, on the other hand, is when you ship your products into Amazon's fulfillment centers or fulfillment center and our fulfillment network, and we take care of the rest. We pick, package, ship to the customer, and handle any customer service inquiries. So that is just good to know and how to like understand the two. Then there's seller fulfilled prime. Seller fulfilled prime is when you believe you can meet Amazon's high bar for delivery services, and you can see if you qualify to enroll in a trial period. And if you do qualify to enroll in a trial period and go through the trial successfully and meet Amazon's high bar for delivering your products to customers, then you can get the Prime badge on your product detail page, which is obviously a huge appeal to Prime customers. Okay, so FBA, just to quickly reiterate that if you are sure most of you guys are business owners, obviously, but if you are working across different time zones and you or than your customers say, and you get customer service inquiries on the regular about like a product that they need to get shipped back, etc. Fulfillment by Amazon can help alleviate that burden because we take care of customer service inquiries. So it kind of like just takes away that headache and allows you to focus more on your business. As mentioned, Fulfillment by Amazon is just one of many fulfillment services that you can leverage. But it's just good to be aware of how they compare to one another. So before you select a fulfillment service, definitely just do your due diligence on what makes sense. A question we get all the time is, well, how much does this cost? Because that's what it really comes down to, right? Like, how much will this cost me as a business owner? It's a huge concern and totally fair one, which is why we have the FBA revenue calculator. The FBA revenue calculator will allow you to get an approximation of how much you utilizing FBA will cost you as a business owner. So you put in things like the weight of your product, for example, and the dimensions, and it will shoot out an approximation of how much utilizing Fulfillment by Amazon will cost you. Okay, opportunities for growth. We'll jump into this in just one moment, but like I said, I do like giving little short breaks in between these sections, so some of that information can just digest and you can capture any remaining notes that you want to write down. Okay, let's dive into why customer reviews are important. So, customer reviews. Obviously, most people here have probably read customer reviews before, and I don't think we really have to hone in on why they're important. Everyone sees the value in them, but just to like point out a couple things that you may not be thinking of is like brand reputation building. Like obviously having a good customer review base is great for your one product detail page, but think of it this way as well. If you're in like a health supplement business and I buy one of your supplements and then I see you're starting a new line for a different for another supplement type, say fish oil, for example, I'm already familiar with that brand and that brand already has good ratings, be more likely personally to buy from that same brand. So it just helps build a brand reputation if you just universally have these positive customer reviews on your different product detail pages. Also serves as social proof that this is a good product, that the people who use it do like it, and they are satisfied with their purchase. And lastly, what I'll say is it's a feedback mechanism. This one may not be as intuitive because you get a, say, subpar review and you're like, what the hell? This person gave me 2 stars. It's not like it's just a part of the product feature. Well, if it's a trending negative review, like you're seeing some similarities in this person's negative review and that person's negative review and that person's negative review, then maybe there's something that you can do a bit differently. So you speak about the product a bit differently. So if they're complaining that, oh, I thought it was going to be bigger, maybe you mention the size in the product title, for example. And they could just be a helpful source for product improvement and address any customer concerns. So Amazon Vine, we also understand that obtaining customer reviews isn't so easy for a product that just launched on Amazon, which is why we have the Amazon Vine program. How this program works is basically we invite Vine voices, which are Amazon's most trusted reviewers in our store, to become part of this program. And how this works for you is basically you will enroll in this program, as a seller, send your products, and your products need to be enrolled in FBA, and then they'll order your products for free. They do get them for free, and then they arrive to that Vine reviewer, that Vine voice, and they leave a lengthy, in-depth review about your product. And this is just a great way to generate some reviews for your new listing and get some in-depth feedback. It's not just great product, loved it. It'd be like, this is fantastic product. It solved X need and it's helped me with X problem. And I love, it's a great value buy, etc. And they don't have to be positive. It could be negative too. But once more, negative reviews can give you insight as to maybe a product adaptation you may want to make in the future. And can allow you to get ahead of it before like other customers start making that same, say, concern. And as we can see, the Vine reviews can help boost sales by up to 30%. So there's obviously an ROI on having reviews on your page. So let's just go over some of the eligibility here. So you want to have less than 30 reviews and on a singular product detail page. And you also want to make sure your products are eligible in FBA in the new condition. Those are two things I want to hit home there. Then customer reviews, do's and don'ts. Only will pick out a few here. So one do is you can go in Seller Central and leverage a request a review feature in Seller Central to ask customer reviews, to ask a customer to leave a review after the customer purchase is made. And we, Amazon, send out just a template, like a standard template to the customer, asking them to leave a review on this product. So it's not you personally who would be sending the review request. Another one is you can monitor reviews regularly to see if there's any like I said, trends, patterns that you may want to improve your product with. And then you can also send a neutral request for feedback inside the product packaging. And what a neutral request is like, please leave a review. It'd be much appreciated. What wouldn't be a neutral request, be like, please leave me a 5-star review. Please leave me the best review ever. That would not be a neutral request. And that's part of the don'ts, like don't request 5-star reviews from customers, don't offer any incentives, like quid pro quos. Please don't manipulate reviews, such as maybe going on your competitor's product detail page. Now, Amazon will track that, and that can result at worst, like in this account suspension. So you don't want that. I'm sure none of you fine people would do that, but just something to be aware of. Okay, moving into promotions and coupons. What are these? Well, promotions or coupons could be simple ways to build brand awareness through short-term promotions and coupons. And how this works is you can have a promotion for your product where you offer 10% off is typically the one that you see most often. 10% off or money off or free shipping to Prime customers. And you may say, well, why do I want to do that? That's going into my margins. 10% is a good bit, right? Or even $5 is a good bit into my margins. Totally fair point and concern. The thing is, though, when you buy it, especially if it's a product that you will continually buy, when someone typically, finds a brand that they like, it's just a natural inclination to keep buying from that brand that they now have like this rapport with, that they have experience with. So you may only have to do that 10% once to get someone loyal for a lifetime. Also, coupons. How are those different? Coupons are the customer has to click on it to actually access the deal. So you may be wondering like how does this look? So in Amazon store, when you see a price crossed out and then you see like the new price in red, like from like $20 to like $15, that's a promotion. A coupon is when you're on a product detail page, like on a products page, and you have to like click here to access $5 off on this order. That's a coupon. And once more, you have full agency and autonomy over this. You can select your discount, the budget, the offer duration, etc. Okay, now some advertising solutions. There are three main ones that we discuss. Sponsored products. So sponsored products is basically when you advertise a specific product. So if you had a teddy bear and you want more visibility, excuse me, for that teddy bear, you can set up an advertising campaign to simply highlight that specific product detail page, and it will populate towards the top when a customer searches for a similar product, so, or that product, a teddy bear. It will pop up towards the top, and as you can see in that picture, it has a little box around the sponsored icon, which is an indication that's a sponsored product. So that's for individual product detail pages. Sponsor brands, on the other hand, is a more comprehensive way of advertising for your brand. And that's when you can highlight 3 products of like the same category, include your logo, include a little tagline, and in cases too, you can include a video. So it's a more comprehensive way of advertising. Sponsored display is when you target customers on and off of Amazon through their behavior. So for example, one time we were speaking to this Amazon seller who had this jet cleaner solution for what was it? It's like hot tubs. And we were on his product detail page, and then afterwards, completely different was on this Guardian website, and then his advertisement popped up on the Guardian website for me as an indication that was just on his product detail page in Amazon store. So those are 3 high-level ways of advertising. Amazon does have an entire ads academy that people can enroll in for free and just take specific courses to learn more about the specific ins and outs of advertising. We also have the small business badge. The small business badge helps customers identify US-based small business brands selling in our store. And it not only helps them identify them, but also support and shop directly from them. So that's something to keep in mind too when you're looking at Amazon store. Like the small business badge is available. It's been rolled out for years now, and they're still working through like the kinks, but it is a icon that denotes that this product is being sold by a small business. And there's the support small page. The support small page is where small businesses from different backgrounds and demographics can are selected from like say Amazon to put their products in one place so people who want to support those sellers from those communities can go on and buy directly from those businesses. And you may be wondering, well, how the hell do I get selected for this? That sounds like a great opportunity. The first thing you need to do is if you have a certification to qualify as a small business or a veteran-owned business, upload that to your Seller Central account. That's the first step. So make sure you do that if you are interested and this is applicable to you. So I know that was a lot. That's kind of all over the place, like with reviews and points of those, advertising campaigns, how do those work, promotions and coupons, and then also the small business badge. So I'll just take a moment just to pause before we finally cap off with additional resources and programs, and then most importantly, address some of your questions. So that's what we'll be doing right after we get to these additional resources and programs. Okay, let's dive in so we can get to all your fantastic questions. So, if you heard this webinar and like, wow, that was great, but I would like to learn more and hear about different topics, well, you can. We have a seller success series with Score where we touch on a number of topics, and that's available. On Google, simply type in Amazon Seller Success Series, and it will be available. You can attend webinars. We present these webinars on a quarterly basis, 4 times a quarter, actually. So there's plenty of opportunities to join them. Seller University. So similar, but a bit different because if you were like, hey, I want to learn more specifically about Fulfillment by Amazon or just an Amazon program specific topic, A plus content, which we didn't touch on, but like advertising or Amazon Vine or creating a product detail page, Seller University would be your go-to resource. Now, Seller University is available in Seller Central, but there's also a free version available on YouTube too that you can access. But Seller University is the place to go where you want to get, say, a deeper dive on a specific Amazon programming topic. Then we have the Growth Education Service. The Growth Education Service is where excuse me. Growth Education Service is where you want to hire an Amazon expert to help grow your business. It's a strategy session, basically, the first one, and the second one, you'll be in the first one, you'll be recommended actions to take, and the second one, it's a review of those actions. It's a paid service as well. It's 2 1-hour sessions, and one is to devise a strategy. And in the meantime, from the first one to the second one, you are supposed to, or instructed, I should say, to take actions on that developed strategy, and it could lead into optimizing your listings, better promotions, enhancing your brand presence, etc. And I touched on the Ads Academy, but just to quickly reiterate, there's over 175 trainings, topics that you can sift through and learn more about. It includes optimizing your campaign, your safe sponsor brand campaign, how do I get started with bids and budgets, etc. Then we have the service provider network. The service provider network is where basically if you need help in account management, taxes, logistics, and shipping, you can go to Amazon SPN or Amazon Service Provider Network. And this is where we have our vetted service providers. So Amazon vets these services, vets these companies before they can access this portal and provide their services through it. And it's exclusive to Amazon selling partners as well. And you can access like discount prices, so I think someone's unmuted, so if they mind muting themselves, would be appreciated. But they can access discount prices, services in their preferred languages or language, and then also local and national providers. Okay. Always like to thank our partners. No, we partner with a number of nonprofits and organizations to provide these educational programs, and none of this would be possible without them. So always give them a shout out. And then lastly, before we dive into your questions, I will ask for your feedback. That will be my last ask is please leave your feedback. It's like 3-question survey that you have to answer, and it goes a long way with our leadership, and it really helps us to continue doing these trainings and these going in these topics. So I'm just gonna wait here for a minute, allow people to fill this out, and then we'll jump into Q&A in just one moment. I'm still hearing feedback, so if someone is unaware that their mic is muted, just double check. We'll just do a double check on that. But okay, let's jump into Q&A now. So anyone who has questions, please feel free to. This is a smaller group, so you can hop on camera if you like. That may be easy, just to get the full tone and fully understand your question. So if you do have a question, please feel free to hop
Yeah.
on your mic.
Hi,
Yeah,
Daniel.
hey,
Can I ask a question, please?
of course.
Okay. Thank you so much for this. Um, so that was very informative, and I have a question about service providers,
Okay.
those who don't have a tangible product.
hmm
How can they sell on Amazon?
So Amazon is primarily geared towards these product-based businesses. That's the gist of Amazon. It's an e-commerce store.
Okay.
So it's really for product-based businesses. Now, you mentioned the service provider network. That is somewhere that maybe a service like your own, if I understand your business remotely correctly, could be more applicable to you. And that is where I would suggest you kind of check out like the criteria. And you can go on, like I could even look for the link right now myself and put in the chat. But this is where I think there may be a possibility for you to provide your services through the Amazon Service Provider Network. But outside of that, Amazon store is really geared for these product-based businesses.
And can you tell me more about the Amazon service provider business? Because I have
Sure.
clients, for example, that are, again, in the service industry, but they don't have tangible products.
Yeah, so the service provider network is where independent businesses, but independent businesses who have been vetted and approved by Amazon can offer their services, whether it's like taxes, account management, so like managing your Amazon store, a number of topics. Like I cannot recall every single topic that's covered, but it's a number of topics, can provide their services, whatever they may be, to Amazon sellers. That's the
Mhm.
service provider network. It's not as easy just to sign up. There is criteria and you need to be approved. So there is like a vetting process. So I don't want to like oversell it, but I think that is probably the best opportunity that immediately comes to mind for service-based businesses to reach, Amazon sellers.
Perfect. Thank you.
Of course.
Very helpful. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I got the link too.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. And one thing I mentioned too, like Jungle Scout, that's a vetted Amazon like service provider. They like interpret our data and they publish on it like different articles. If you want to learn like more about Amazon too, Jungle Scout is always helpful just to get like a different perspective that's not just Amazon.
Is there a link to them?
Yeah, I'll send you a link to their site. But they cover like I'm not gonna send you like there's not like a specific one that I'm referring to. I'm just saying like them as an organization. But let me just do this.
Daniel, I think there was a question in the chat regarding the
Oh,
slides and whether
yeah.
somebody could copy of the slides.
Deanna, that
hmm
it's there's a huge um echo. I'm sorry. So
Sorry.
Okay. Is someone on mute? I just keep hearing someone. Um, but let me go to the question about the slides. Can I just do this too? Can I just mute people? I can. Okay. Regarding the slides, let's go to that question so I can see it. Okay, so we do not share slides due to the dynamic nature of them. What I mean by that, in essence, is that they're changing. We update these slides to be aligned with Amazon's, updating policies. Therefore, we do not distribute the slides afterwards. However, to my understanding, Deanna is sharing a recording of this presentation on the YouTube channel. So you can actually will be able to see these slides again and see this recording.
Daniel, do people selling products, I assume the seller is responsible for any liability. Is that all something that has to be verified and given to Amazon, like to have liability insurance or those sorts of things in place?
So that really comes down like product category. Like there's I can share this with you, like Amazon restricted products and what you may need to provide. Like for example, health. Like I'll go back to the health supplements example. Like they have like special guidelines, and wherever those guidelines are for specific products, then yes, like you would be responsible for providing that. Know that this supplement's safe and it's been approved, etc. That's just one example. But yeah, let me share with you the link.
Might that go better?
Yeah, I believe it is gone.
Oh, good. Other questions for Daniel?
Quick question.
Daniel, I'm sorry, go ahead.
A question regarding resellers. So if you're if you're a specific brand, are resellers able to access your products and do their thing, or does Amazon kind of
So
mitigate that for?
you mean if you're just so I understand correctly,
Yeah.
you're asking if I'm a brand owner and
Yep.
I'm selling my product and then someone gets my product and then says and sells it as well and tries to undercut me or just not even just they sell it in Amazon store, does Amazon take action on that?
Yeah. Essentially, do they do something to help protect your brand and
Sure.
your sales channel?
Yeah, and that's what goes back to brand registry. So if your product is brand or has a trademark and you upload that trademark through brand registry, that trademark number you'll get, then Amazon can take proactive measures that you don't even need to report, but you can report them as well if you get to it, if you see it before Amazon, where we can investigate, take down any suspected listing that's infringing upon your intellectual property, and yeah, so in essence, yes. Um, but the thing is that you definitely need to have that trademark and that
Sure.
trademark number uploaded through brand registry. And you only need a pending trademark too. Let me
Okay. A second question. How does the returns process work? Is it the same as the fulfillment? If you're fulfillment by Amazon, do they handle both ends of that
yeah, so
transaction?
their Amazon will handle uh returns if you do fulfill through them. And how that can work too in terms of like do I get any money back is Amazon's a grade and resale program where you can enroll in it and pretty much capitalize on what would have been like a lost sales opportunity.
Mhm.
Or conversely, you can get sent back to you. You can
Okay.
also get it sent back to you as well. So those are like two of the options as well.
All right. So does Amazon send money from sales in real time, or is it like intervaled or?
It's intervaled. The exact pay schedule does not come to mind, so I don't want to misspeak on it. But that information would be available through Seller Central or through just yeah, Amazon. It is public. It's just the exact time schedule does not come to mind, but it is the interval.
Probably something that shows up in your seller dashboard.
Yeah, and Seller Central is the best place. Just you can use it as a search engine where you type in like a topic that's obviously related to selling Amazon store, and it will like have articles like Amazon Seller University articles that you can read, and it'll just point you to the right answer. And there's also an AI tool, Project Amelia, that's being rolled out that you can just like pretty much like a chat bot that you can simply ask questions to, and that's the type of information that can get back to you as well.
And then the last question,
Yeah.
you talked about the one client that had a store within Amazon, and then you were getting retargeted display ads outside of the
Oh
environment.
yeah. hmm
So are those types of is that inventory that can only be purchased through Amazon, or do you get a specific like website that you can put a pixel on in order to have that retargeted traffic?
Did you say inventory?
No, I was talking about, like
Yeah.
retargeted digital is essentially putting a pixel on your website, and
Yeah.
then once it comes in, it fires on the IP address of the inbound traffic.
Mhm.
Does Amazon allow like third-party placements, I guess is what I'm saying, or do you have to buy it
Yes,
from Amazon?
but no, and that's what sponsored display is. But it's approved ones, obviously. So it's not, it wouldn't be every single website, but it's approved ones where it would fire up. But yeah, that is the essence of sponsored display
Okay.
of your ad being shown on a third party website. I'm not
Yeah, but in
in
order
turn.
to do it, you buy it through like um through your internal advertising tool
Yeah, it's
exclusively.
through Amazon. Yeah, so you wouldn't have to do
Gotcha.
anything external. And to kind of give you more, I think, a direct answer too, like you wouldn't be able to like say I want to appear on this website and not that one. Like you wouldn't simply just be able to like t input specific websites. It's gonna be the ones there are that are available for Amazon to advertise on.
Yeah, sure. That's pretty much the standard. Okay. Thank you
Okay,
for that.
cool. Yeah, of course. Awesome. So if we don't have any other questions, and please feel free, we do have a couple more minutes, then I can pass it back to Deanna.
I did actually
Excellent.
have
Oh, yeah,
I'm
one
sorry.
other
Go ahead.
question. Sorry, Deanna,
yeah,
this will be
go
quick.
No
for it.
worries.
No,
Are units transactions or are they products?
excuse me.
So
Oh,
earlier
you
you
said
stated
units. Mm-hmm.
so it's by product, or is it like if somebody buys three of something, um,
Yeah,
it's a
so hmm so I was just real quick. Yeah, units are basically when I say like 31 million units were sold. I mean like 30 individual like yeah, those transactions, those individual units. When I speak of a product, like this is a product, and if I sold, five of these, I would sold 5 units. That,
okay.
yeah,
Thanks for the clarification.
of course, of course. Yeah, I used to always like not always, but before I would like interchange those before getting to this role. I was like, I don't understand the difference. And it's like, well, the product is kind of like studying the units is what you're basically selling.
Excellent. Thank you, Daniel, so much. Very helpful information. I feel like I've gone behind the curtain for Amazon, and I'm learning so much about how this happens.
Happy to hear that.
And I think that, again, pointing out, I think you said 5,500 businesses, small to mid-sized businesses from the state of Oregon are independent sellers on Amazon. And so it's not like, oh, this is not approachable for small businesses. And I think if I remember correctly, there's a place when you're purchasing that you can find independent sellers that are in the state you're purchasing from. Like you could go and say, I'm in Oregon and I want to purchase from Oregon businesses. Is that correct?
I'm not familiar with that. I cannot comment on that because I just don't know. That may be something that is an idea somewhere. No, Amazon's a large company, but I have no information on that, unfortunately.
No worries. That gives me something to do is go and check that out. Any final questions for Daniel about this opportunity? If not, thank you all very much. Again, I want to thank David Yasa, the growth coach of Greater Portland, for being our sponsor. Really, truly appreciate it. And again, thank you, Daniel, for spending your time with us here today. We are back here again on, I believe it's May 19th. It's the third Wednesday. And we will be convening a panel of small businesses to really talk about sort of the state of small business. And so it'll be a panel discussion, but really a small business roundtable that I'm hoping everyone will join in and have a conversation around. Sort of interesting times for our small businesses, actually for all businesses right now, and would just want to get a sense of where things are, the pain points, where the opportunities are. So please plan to join us May 19th right here at 10 o'clock a.m. Thank you all.
Take care, everyone.